This spring season, the Game of the Week features a variety of sports from the high school and collegiate level, including baseball, softball, swimming, and track action. And tonight, KRUZ is proud to present the Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League Boys Swimming and Diving Championships from Cabrillo College. Tonight's game is brought to you by Straw Hat Pizza at Highway 1 and 41st Avenue, the crossroads of our community. Ocean Chevrolet, where you'll find the heartbeat of America. And Santa Cruz Landscape Supply, handling the needs of both the weekend gardener and the professional. Now, let's go poolside with tonight's announcers, Dick Little and Jim Booth.
You're looking at the Cabrillo College pool, site once again of the Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League's men's swimming finals. I'm Dick Little, and we want to welcome you once again to our TV broadcast. Jim Booth on my right here. Jim, of course, providing the expert commentary. Jim, hot day today, unusually warm for an Aptos afternoon, and it's been warm since the early morning hours. Now, normally this meet is held in gray. There's usually fog here. It's usually a little bit on the cool side. Temperatures in the lower 60s, maybe even the upper 50s. Will this warmer weather make a difference in swim performances today?
Well, you know, it's funny you mention that, because in past years we had the rain and we'd always say, gee, look at this drizzle. But on a warm day, you do have that worry that the kids will start lying around the pool deck. They're going to start daydreaming. They're going to work on their tan instead of their event. So coaches are keeping their eyes on them, especially the sprinters. You want to keep them hyper and active, not like sleepy sheep on a nice afternoon. So the coaches usually know to keep their eyes on them, keep them out of the sun too much. But on a championship meet like this, Dick, really everybody's mind today is on their swims. And I don't think there's going to be a whole lot that's going to interfere with that.
Speaking of championship meet, we're going to have some good performances today. What can people look for?
This is going to be a tremendous matchup again for our standings. Of course, Harbor High School, even having played musical pools all year after the earthquake, is still coming in strong. In fact, in some ways stronger in the past. They have some great individual swimmers. But second place, in the second place standings, Gilroy and Santa Cruz High tied in their dual meet, and they're coming in here really having to fight it out to see who can take that. Same thing, a battle for fourth and fifth between Watsonville and Aptos. So we've got some great individual events, but real battles for positionings in the meet today.
Okay, and we should have a dandy out here at Cabrillo College. And if they show me the rest of the day, I won't be wearing this coat. I can guarantee you it is very warm out here. Temperature in the mid-70s. And we've got some stellar performances coming up when we return in just a moment.
Aptos has got 12. Bronco put it down. Bronco let it fly. It's got enough length. My goodness, it's good! SCCAL has won this football game!
It is impossible to turn back the hands of time, but if we could, it would be special moments like this we would relive time and time again.
Dick Little and Jim Booth here with the first event of the Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League Swimming Championships for men. And in the pool, you're seeing the beginning of the 200 medley relay. And the featured lane, or lane 3, is Harbor, lane 4 is Gilroy, lane 2 is Aptos, lane 5 Santa Cruz, lane 1 is Watsonville, and lane 6 on the far side of the pool will be SCCAL.
And Dick, they're off with a good start here. Only Harbor High School has already qualified for CCS in this event. So you'll see the other teams working real hard here, no matter what they're placing, to also be trying to qualify for CCS. The qualifying time in this event is a 150.8. We have Harbor in at a 150 flat.
Right now, however, it's Aptos leading in this race, as they have built a pretty good lead right now, a good body length, and Aptos is in the water first as the second leg of the relay is underway.
And their breaststrokers out, holding their lead right there. All of these schools have tapered for this meet, and partially because it's their most important meet of the year. And if they haven't qualified yet for CCS, this is their last chance.
But Jason McCombs of Harbor in lane 3 has caught up, and now Santa Cruz in lane 5 is got a slight lead over Harbor in lane 2, as Aptos is now falling off, and they'll hit the water about the same time. But Santa Cruz right now now is in the lead as we go to the butterfly leg.
Close touch there, and Ryan Judson for Harbor High School in the water right as Santa Cruz hits the water. Judson hits the wall first on the butterfly, pulling Harbor into the lead at that point.
And it'll be up to Paul Locatelli to see if he can hold the lead for Harbor. But right now, Ryan Judson doing a good job with Santa Cruz in second place. And now the final leg, the freestyle. It's Harbor in first place, Santa Cruz in second place. And Harbor now putting up a good and solid lead as Paul Locatelli is swimming a good leg for Harbor, and Santa Cruz unable to catch up as it will be Harbor in first place and Santa Cruz in second place. And we have Harbor winning it, and Santa Cruz in second place, and a time, and we have not got an official time, but it was under 1:50, which was their submitted time, and that will be an excellent time. We'll get the results for you in just a moment. Let's go poolside now as Jim Booth talks with Brad Jones.
Thank you, Dick, and we're down here on the pool deck with Brad Jones, who is first seed in the 200-yard freestyle. Now, this 200-yard freestyle is the story of the meet. Harbor High School is not seeded first. They're strongly seeded, though, in second and third. Again, the lead seed is from SCCAL, Brad Jones. And Brad, the 152, Matt Wynn is right behind you at a 155. Do you have a specific strategy today that you're going to try to do to keep that first place?
Yes, I do. I'm going to go out as fast as I can on the first 100, and I'm going to come back with what I got.
Well, now, this is on an event like this, are you going to be keeping your eye on Matt Wynn?
Yeah, I'm going to be watching him the whole way on the last 100 yards, and then we'll see from there.
Well, I know Matt has shaved down for this one. It's real important for him also. Brad, we wish you luck, and we're going to watch how it goes.
Okay, thank you.
An outstanding performance primarily by Ryan Judson in that relay for Harbor as the Pirates get a dandy time of 1:47.37. They had a 1:50 submitted time in that relay. So it was an outstanding performance by the Harbor Pirates, with a strong performance also by Paul Locatelli, who finished things off rather handily for the Pirate swim team.
And we also have qualifying times there for CCS from Gilroy, Aptos, and Santa Cruz.
1:50.80 the qualifying time,
Dick,
and the 1982 Harbor team set the record at 1:41.
Dick, they're standing up on the blocks now for the final heat of the varsity 200. We spoke with Brad Jones about how he's going to swim this race. Matt Wynn has entered right behind him at a 1:55, although that is not Matt's lifetime best in this event. He has gone faster, and he expects to go faster today. This is the first time in his life he has shaved down, as you see him there in lane 4, completely shaved down for this event. They're ready for the start, Dick?
And it's a good start. They're all in the water at approximately the same time. Brad Jones in lane number 3. Matt Wynn of Harbor is in lane number 4. Of course, Jones from SCCAL. In lane 2, Danny Albalez of Harbor. And in lane 5, it's Zach Thompson from Santa Cruz. Lane 1, Jeff Wickham of Santa Cruz. And Scott McCullough of Gilroy is in lane 6 on the far side of the pool.
And they told us, Brad told us he would go out hard on this and then stay with it. You see Brad Jones out there in the lead in lane 3. He is looking real good coming up here on the third turn. He's still got a lead, but Matt Wynn is right on him. And notice, Dick, that in this whole field out here, they are all within a few seconds of each other. All of these are strong swimmers. Zach Thompson from Santa Cruz High, also a possibility to pull out. There's our split, a 52.7 for Brad Jones and a 50. We don't have the split up yet on Matt Wynn. No, that's a 52.7 also on both of them out in incredible times out here. Behind them now was still Brad Jones leading Matt Wynn right on his shoulder. You see Matt Wynn working hard here on the third 50, and that race for second place between Zach Thompson of Santa Cruz and Danny Albalez.
Look at Matt Wynn come on. Is Joe's going to make it as they make the turn, and they're turning almost even now as Wynn is putting a move on Brad Jones, and that wasn't expected.
Matt Wynn, an experienced swimmer with lots of yards behind him. He is doing 50,000 yards a week with the Cabrillo team. And there you see Matt Wynn popping off that last turn ahead of Brad Jones.
And it looks like the person in the better shape is going to win this race as Matt Wynn is coming on, and he's going to take a full-length lead and win it by a full body over Brad Jones. First place.
150.1 for that first place with Matt Wynn.
151.56 for Brad Jones in the second place.
And at third place is lane 4 with a 153.9. Lane 4.
Jeff Wickham, I believe, came in third place.
Yes, Jeff Wickham there
from Santa Cruz, and that was mild upset because he was seeded 5th in the event. So the upset, first one of the meet, Matt Wynn over Brad Jones. Harbor winning over SCCAL in the 200-yard freestyle.
And this might be one of the differences in our meet today. You know, Harbor High School has won this for 9 straight years, won the championship, and they've gone as much as 2 or 3 years without ever winning an event, yet winning the meet. But what we're seeing today was here they were not seeded to win, and they did pull ahead. They've got some more event winners this year than they've ever had in the past. So that was a stunning swim by Matt Wynn.
Here are the results now of the 200-yard freestyle, and a big upset by Matt Wynn. His time, 150.13, and that's almost 5 seconds better than his submitted time of 155.05. Brad Jones improved his time. He did a 151.56 for second place, and his submitted time was 152.50. So dandy swim that time, Jim Booth, by Matt Wynn. Danny Alvarez. I'm sorry,
Harbor.
It's Jeff Wickham of Santa Cruz in third place, followed by Danny Alvarez of Harbor in fourth place. Fifth place goes to Zach Thompson, and sixth place to Scott McCullough.
And Dick, we have the final heat now of the 200-yard individual medley stepping up to the blocks. Of course, the varsity goes 50 yards of each stroke in this event. Again, the same story that Harbor High School is not seeded first. In fact, we have the strongest swimmer in the league swimming this event today, Mark Ruelas. And Mark here has a chance to set a new league record. And in an event like this where the next swimmer is almost 11 seconds behind him, what he needs to do is pick personal goals like that. So he's trying for a league record. He's entered at a 157.31. The league record is a 156.1, which was set 10 years ago.
Mark Ruelas, of course, in lane 3. Lane 4 is Takeshi Kaneko. Lane 2 is Zach Gallagher as they head for the water. In lane 6 is Justin Velez, and in lane 1 is Eric Reed, as 1 is on the bottom of your screen, 6 is on the top of your screen.
You see a beautiful stroke there from Mark Ruelas. Part of the essence of a good IM is taking it out carefully. The butterfly here needs to be swum at a quick enough pace to establish your lead, but not enough to wipe you out. One of the rules a good IMer will follow is to try to have his freestyle split beat his butterfly split. We see him out in a 26.03, just 26 seconds there on the fly. For Mark Ruelas, that's a good, comfortable swim. Another strategy that you see on the IM is that good IMers are usually good backstrokers, and you can see Mark demonstrating that here. Again, a relaxed, long stroke. He's extending his lead as we would expect him to here. He comes off of the backstroke into his breaststroke, a full 3 seconds ahead now of our second swimmer here, Takeshi Kaneko, in lane 4.
Interestingly enough, though, because he is such a strong swimmer, so much better than the field, the question is, how much incentive does that, how much push does that give him to try and get that record?
With an experienced swimmer, Dick, he should be able to know his own pace, his own times, so well that he can race against the clock. Now, it doesn't hurt to have somebody right next to you threatening you. Genghis Khan of the swimming world right there making you go. But a good swimmer like Mark Ruelas can be following the clock. He's at a 130.42 coming off on his last split. If he's going to go that in a 25 on the freestyle, we'll see a 155, which would be a new record. So that's what he has to do right here, is break a 26 on the freestyle. Remember, we said he would like to beat his butterfly time at this point. Here's the finish right here. 156.95 unofficially, Dick, up on the automatic counter. 156.1 is the record. It looks like unofficially Mark Ruelas, of course, is our winner, but may not have set the record in lane 4. Takeshi Kaneko is second in lane 2. Zach Gallagher of Santa Cruz with a tremendous swim is in third place.
Remember, Steve Hatch 10 years ago did place in CCS, one of the few swimmers from this league that's ever placed in CCS. So that certainly bodes well for Mark Ruelas as he heads for the CCS with a near record performance here at Cabrillo College Swim Center. Coming up now, the race that brings out the fastest swimmer in the Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League, the 50-yard freestyle. And of course, as in most of the races today, we're going to see a tremendous battle between two outstanding swimmers. We're talking about Derek Thornton of Harbor and Brad Jones of SCCAL, and both submitting times, entry times of 22.80 seconds. And the record for this event, I believe, was set by Tom Moore about 8 years ago, and he had a time, Terry Dixon holds a record of 21.52, and that's a potential record that may be shattered today.
Dick, we have a real great field on this event. There is 0.7 of a second between first and sixth in this final heat. As you said, Derek Thornton and Brad Jones are entered at the exact same time, 22.80 down to the 100th. Derek Thornton, an up-and-coming swimmer, an incredible swimmer, the way he has improved over this last year. Brad Jones, a strong swimmer from SCCAL. But then look right behind him at 23.2, Paul Locatelli, another strong swimmer from Harbor, Nate Irby from Harbor. So Harbor with good depth, 3 entries here. And here we have the swimmers stepping up to the block. This will all be over in 25 seconds.
In lane 1 is Bill McNabb. In lane 2, Paul Locatelli. Lane 3, Derek Thornton. Lane 4, Brad Jones. In lane 5, Nate Irby. And in lane 6, Ron Diaz. Diaz from Gilroy, McNabb from Gilroy, Irby from Harbor, Locatelli Harbor, Jones SCCAL, and Thornton Harbor.
And you see the start there. Derek Thornton is clearly behind a little bit, but moving right up. Watch at the wall here. The feet hit the wall, and Derek Thornton barely ahead, but he was behind on that start, and that makes a difference in lane 3.
Derek Thornton, however, has got the lead, and it looks like Derek Thornton's going to pull away.
And that touch looks clearly like Derek Thornton. We see on the board there, lane 3, first place, 22.80. His entry time, he hits it again, but it's enough to pull him out of that slow start and bring him in for a great finish. You know, Dick, coming up in the 100 free, we have Derek Thornton entered second, right behind the top swimmer in the league, Mark Ruelas. And I think we're going to see one of our really tremendous races today in that 100 free. Mark Ruelas, who has not been beat in a varsity event, swimming against this young swimmer coming up who is just doing tremendously well. I think it's going to be another one of the really good events in this meet today. Derek is due to drop quite a bit. He has shown incredible improvement. Mark Ruelas is not tapered for this meet. He has rested a little bit, but he is already sure he's going to CCS. That's an important meet for him. So Mark's not fully tapered. So here we have a real matchup. We have the young up-and-coming guy trying to really improve. Mark Ruelas not fully tapered, trying to hold on there. So in the 100 free, we'll see Derek again.
I'm just wondering if the same thing might be true for Brad Jones, who is not swimming quite as powerfully as people had expected so far in this meet. And he, too, just may be not tapered for this meet, looking instead towards CCS.
Yeah, I think it's important to him, although they all want to do well here. This is, as we said, a real important meet, whether they fully rest or not. But almost all the swimmers taper for this entirely. Harbor High School goes by the idea of tapering entirely, and even if they don't do as well at CCS, it doesn't matter. This really is the meet of the year.
And coming up, we're going to have the varsity 100-yard butterfly. You're looking at Mike Bennett, the coach of the Santa Cruz swim team. He arrived a bit late. Jim Booth knows why.
Well, Mike was down this morning at a triathlon, Dick. Here's a real triathlete. He went down last night to the Wildflower Triathlon at San Antonio Lake. He drove back up here, and he's returning after this meet today to go back and compete again tomorrow. Mike, of course, being one of the great former Harbor High swimmers, now the Santa Cruz coach, but still a tremendous athlete in triathlons. You know, that he's a good example of guys who can really get psyched up for a race.
The question is, can he psych his swimmers up for a race, because they're the ones that are going to be partly battling for that second position today.
Well, you can see some of these swimmers now and what they've done in getting ready for the meet. You see the haircuts, the fast goo they put on themselves, the dyeing hair, the comments. Look at some of these markings. And Mike is among the best at that, although the whole job of the high school coach is getting his team psyched up. I mean, look at that guy. They ought to check his house for radon gas. And there's another one. I mean, that one probably lays brown eggs, right?
That's probably true. The thing is, though, that you know, they get these things going for themselves. Does it really improve their swimming?
Yeah, I think it does. The essence of good swimming is the effort you put into it. We've all seen examples of people who haven't done the training, maybe they have every reason not to do well, but they do. And it's really that classic of, if you really have to, you will. The old grandma picking up the car off her grandson story really happens. People get excited, they can do the job. And speaking of psyching up, Dick, here's the final heat of the varsity 100-yard butterflies stepping up to the blocks.
And in lane 1, it'll be Simon Fletcher of SoCal. Lane 2, Maceos Cortez of SoCal. Lane 3 is Justin Vale of Aptos. Lane 4 is Ryan Judson of Harbor. Lane 5, Zach Stockwell of Watsonville. And lane 6, Bill McNabb of Gilroy. They're off, and then the seeds, of course, the top seeds, lane 3, Justin Vale, and then lane 4, Ryan Judson. And Ryan Judson has a lead right now. You may remember how well Ryan did in the individual medley relay, giving Harbor the big lead, which allowed them to come close to setting a meet record here. And it looks like Ryan Judson is really tapered, and he is going all out right now.
He is working, and his coach, Jack Dufour, was worried. Ryan has been sick, as he said, just at a bad time of the year, but Ryan's holding on. Obviously, Justin Velez is going to try to finish as hard as he can. We're going to see a tremendous last lap here, but we see Ryan off the wall again on the third turn, still in the lead, with Justin coming right on his feet. And at the top of your screen, in lane 6, we have Bill McNabb from Gilroy strong. But it looks like Ryan's going to finish hard there, Dick.
And undoubtedly, he's doing a 58.49, an excellent time for Ryan Judson, who came in with a submitted time of 101.34, a 59-second swim for Justin Velez of Aptos. So both swimmers again beating their times, but Harbor looks like the team that is best prepared for this meet so far.
They're well prepared, and we see another example of Harbor High School with a lot of depth, and then this year also stepping in, a big surprise is stepping into first place on some of these events. Ryan Justin just swam a beautiful race. You know, some people look at butterfly as being the most difficult stroke, but another way to look at it, Dick, is the most rhythmic. It requires strength to hold that rhythm. It requires the finesse to hold that stroke, and you can see on a race like that, it's real easy to fall apart at the end. He held that all the way down to the final finish. A little bit of a Biondi finish there, though. Double clutched on it, but made it in there.
Don't go away. Lots of swimming, plenty of interviews coming up here on Cruise Television.
Don't know what you need? Want some help? Send
winning it with a 156.95 clocking. Takeshi Kaneko from Harbor is second at 205.61, followed in the third place by Zach Gallagher. Fourth place going to Eric Reed. Fifth place to Justin Velez. And sixth place to Yoshi Yashiro of Gilroy. And now Jim Booth has some interviews available, and let's go down to the deck and Jim Booth.
Thank you, Dick. And Derek Thorington is the current Frost-Soft record holder in the 100-yard freestyle. He's going to be swimming right next to Mark Ruelas in the varsity 100-yard freestyle today. Now, Mark is a tremendous swimmer, but you seem to be moving into the position he's held for a long time. A strong, younger swimmer. You're a junior now. Your times have been dropping fantastically. How do you feel today, Derek?
Today I feel pretty good. I felt really good on the 50 freestyle, and I think I'll do pretty well in the 100.
Well, Mark's never been beat, I think, in a varsity event. You're one of the people that could give him any threat at all. Do you think you can be right with him through most of this race?
I think I'll be pretty close to him, and I'll just give him a run for his money, see what happens.
Well, I know your coach is real happy with how you've been doing. He says your taper looks just great. We wish you a lot of luck, and we'll watch you in the 100 free.
The sprinter, a very special type of person, a man who has to work hard at getting himself ready for a race. Coming up, the 100-yard freestyle here at Cabrillo College and the Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League Championships. Let's look at the results of the 100 fly. First place going to Ryan Judson with a time of 57:48. Second place, Justin Velez of Aptos with a time of 59:01. Third place to Dave Thompson. Fourth place to Bill McNabb. McNabb from Gilroy, Thompson from Santa Cruz. Fifth place to Simon Fletcher of SCCAL. Sixth place to Brian Dawson, also of SCCAL. Now we're getting set for the 100-yard freestyle. Jim Booth has come back up on our broadcasting facilities, and let's set the lineup for you for this race. In lane 6 will be Dana Bush of Gilroy. In lane 5, it'll be Danny Albalez of Harbor. In lane 4, Derek Thorenson of Harbor. In lane 3, Mark Ruelas of Aptos. In lane 2, Paul Locatelli of Harbor. And in lane 1, Victor Lane of Santa Cruz.
And Dick, they're stepping up to the blocks here. You see in the middle of our screen, Mark Ruelas in lane 3. In lane 4, then Derek Thorington. They are side by side. I think we're going to see a tremendous race, whichever way it goes, whether Mark's going to pull Derek along or Derek's going to give Mark a push. Mark would like to set a record in this event. Again, we have another one of the old records here. Tom Moore back in 1982, a 47.7. Mark is entered at a 48.3. And we saw Mark over there at the warm-up pool when we first came back on. Mark was stretching, loosening up. You see the looseness there that they get. This is what the essence of sprinting is. It's an explosive type of event. The whole thing is over very quickly. It's not aerobic. It's not depending on the air you're breathing during the event. It depends on the energy you have stored up, basically, and the explosiveness. So you can see Mark would rather just get in the water right now, stay loose. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be distracted. There he goes. He'll hop in and keep that looseness. And you can see that sprinter stroke that he has. Look at how long that is. High, loose, and any tightness at all. What it does is shortens that stroke up.
Thorington, of course, will give him a push that he didn't have in his last race, which just might make the difference for him.
It may be. It may be. Again, sprinters are emotional. It's not the distance sort of guy who is in the tortoise and hare story. The sprinters are the hare. The distance guys are the tortoises. Sprinters do it all at once. And you can see him here as he did on warm-up. He was going underwater and sitting underwater for a second. But he's removing himself and letting himself concentrate on this event coming up.
The heat of the day. It's getting a bit cooler now than what it was when we opened our meet. The question is, what effect does this have on the swimmers?
Well, I'll tell you what happened was that when I went down on deck to talk to Mark and Derek, you saw that I only got to speak with Derek. Mark stayed in the water. He wanted to get ready for the event. He wanted to be focusing and that. Derek stayed with us for a minute and then ran right over and hopped in the pool over there. So what they've done here is they do stay, keeping their mind on the event. They do stay in the water and stay cool, stay out of this direct sun. Another thing, Dick, that you see is on the order of events. Now, this order of events was established years ago. What they do is they put these events so the sprinters don't swim right away in the meet, not when they're dead cold. They do swim later in the meet when they're warmed up, and Dick, they're up on the blocks now.
Okay, this should be a dandy between Derek Thorington and Mark Rualis. Thorington from Harbor, Rualis from Aptos.
Tremendous. Remember in the 50 free we saw Derek Thorington sit on the blocks for a second. A tremendous start there, and watch their feet hit the wall. That's on the sprints. All you can see, they hit exactly together, both of them off, and as we were looking for there, a tremendous race. See, Thorington's not even breathing here on this lap, and he took a look over on his right side, and if anything, Thorington barely hit that wall ahead. 23.48. Lane 4 on our electronic timing shows Thorington hit that split on the first 50 just slightly ahead of Mark Rualis on the third turn, both of them side by side.
Rualis, a great turn though. Rualis with the strength off the wall, and it's going to be Rualis all the way as he comes in, and he's pulling away now from Thorington, and Mark Rualis wins it. But what a dandy race that was with a time of 48.3.
And in lane 5, we have our third place swimmer. First place then Mark Rualis, second place Derek Thorington. But I see both people are smiling. What a tremendous, well, everybody looks pretty happy down there. What a tremendous race. Everybody putting it out. Doesn't look like, Dick, though, that unofficially that was a new league record. Those are tough records to break, but a great swim from Mark Rualis and dragging along Derek Thorington. That's his first official time, probably in his life, under 50 seconds in the 100-yard freestyle.
Once again, we saw the importance of the turn, though, and Thorington, had he had that good turn on the final lap, he might have won that, but it was Rualis' powerful turn that did the trick.
Right, and sprinting will tell us all about might-haves, could-haves, should-haves. You know that whoever's out there ready and doing it, who's got the starts, who's got the turns, they're the ones who are going to do it. And you know, on a sprint, it means even more. If you get even a little bit behind, you're going to start to take those wakes and the wash water back against you. So you saw it once Rualis pulled ahead on that last turn, he was able to blast down. And a lot of experience, a lot of years, but Thorington just had a little bit of university education there.
A beautiful day here at Cabrillo College Swim Center, the Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League Finals on Cruise Television. The long race of the day is the 500-yard freestyle, the endurance race of high school swimming, if you will. And this is where, if you will, some of the slugs swim. The guys who don't like to sprint. They have a different mentality. And summarizing that, let's hear from Jim Booth.
Thanks, Dick. Here they are stepping up to the blocks now for the 500. And you'll see, you know, a lot of different names. You don't see the same names usually in the 50 free and the 500. They're two different types of person. We're going to watch the start now, Dick.
Let's set them up for you right now. As a matter of fact, in lane 1 is Neil Matthias of Harbor. In lane 2 is Jeff Wickham of Santa Cruz. Lane 3, Matt Wynn of Harbor, the favorite. Lane 4, Zach Thompson of Santa Cruz. Lane 5, Scott McCullough of Gilroy. And in lane 6 is Jerry Oliveira of Gilroy.
Now they're off to a start, and this is an event where 100th of a second's not going to make as big a difference in a 5-minute event. Yes, as you said, Matt Wynn is the favorite. He's got the most experience. He's a good, solid middle distance swimmer. He's also fully tapered and shaved down for this. You see, he shaved his head for the first time in his life. On an event that lasts this long, a 5-minute event, strategy comes into being a real major part of it. They've got time to be planning out how they're going to swim it. They've got to have a plan that they're going to follow. They can't just get carried away. But you're also looking at all these people all around you. You see Matt Wynn looking over at his left right now. Jeff Wickham's over on his right. He just snuck a peek over there to his right at Jeff Wickham. And Jeff Wickham could be a threat on this. Jeff is tapered for this meet also. Santa Cruz High tends to produce good freestylers. Mike Bennett works with them on all strokes, but they're great freestylers. So even though Matt's the strongest swimmer in this event, he's got to keep his eyes open. Now another thing that occurs here is the yardage they put in. And there's a lot of talk now about how much yardage does a swimmer really need? Are they doing too much? When it comes down to a long freestyle event, that too much issue sort of falls by the wayside. Matt's been doing 50,000 yards a week. That may be more yardage than a lot of people do in their lifetime. And that may seem like a lot, but when you start getting in at this rhythm, this pace, for lap after lap, that's the only place they're going to have that base stick to be able to keep it up. So we're going to watch him now in his splits. We see him out here at the 150 at a 126, and we'll see how he holds up during this. He's
Skip Littlefield, who worked for so many years at the Santa Cruz Seaside Company as their publicity director and a variety of other jobs in the marketing end of that thing. At one time was a lifeguard on the beach in Santa Cruz, and he said that in his time, and he swam against people like Johnny Weissmiller, or with people like Johnny Weissmiller. He was a breaststroker, and at that time they swam the breaststroke under the water instead of on top of it. But he said if he had a big meet coming, he did 1,000 yards a week. Swimmers warm up with 1,000 yards. At a given practice today. The Mission Viejo swimmers during the peak of their training will go 25,000 yards in a given session in the pool as they prepare for a big meet. And many of your high school youngsters who swim for the club teams will do as much as 18 to 20,000 yards a day. So this, 50,000 yards a week is really not that great a workout.
It's not as much as people have done, and you'll hear people now saying, well, you know, I only do 3,000 yards a day. I only do 4,000 yards a day. And they say, see, this proves that you don't need the big yardage. But remember, a lot of these people that are saying I do 4,000 yards a day put in 10 years of doing 15,000 yards a day. And as you say, 15,000 yards a day times 6 is about, what is that, 80, 90,000 yards a week, and even more than what we see Matt doing. So the yardage is an issue, and I remember those stories. Johnny Weissmiller was another one. He'd say, I train almost 3 times a week for a half an hour. And that would be a playtime now compared to the kind of work and yardage that they're putting in now, especially for these distance events, Dick.
Now that we're in the middle of this race, virtually, we should really take a little bit of a break here and go over to Santa Cruz High School and check out the diving event, which took place the day before this meet.
Thank you, Dick. We are at Santa Cruz High School for the diving portion of this championship meet, and you're looking at Frank Rogers, a senior at Watsonville High School, who nails this dive on his way to a third-place finish with 260 points. With a total of 282 points, good enough for a second-place finish in league, Matt Reyes of Santa Cruz High School. Look for a lot more of Reyes in the future. This year, he's only a sophomore. And capturing the 1990 league title in diving, Harbor High School senior Al Jett, whose tight and precise dives netted him 316 points on the afternoon, locking up the top spot. Harbor High's Al Jett. Now let's head back to the 500-meter freestyle.
In the diving events, by the way, of course, Al Jett winning it for Harbor, as you could clearly see. The fourth-place finisher was Brian Peterson of Harbor with 224.10 points. Fifth place to Daniel Jabor of Watsonville at 212.90 points. Sixth place to Brian Hoffman of Gilroy at 161.90 points. And John Hickey of Aptos finishes seventh with 157.25 points. And by the way, Bob Oakley of Harbor finished with 200.75 points, and he is the JV winner in this event. And Matt Reyes, a second place finisher from Santa Cruz, who had 282.75 points. He was the JV winner last year, so you're going to see a lot from Bob Odie of
And there's
Harbor.
our gun warning for the final 50, Dick, in this 500 free varsity 500 freestyle. Matt Wynn, as expected, clearly out in the lead. We see the battle for second place back here. Jeff Wickham in lane 2 and Zach Thompson, the two Santa Cruz High freestylers, side by side. They probably train in the same lane. They're probably next to each other all year. You see the orange card flashing for them, letting them know to wake up, and they're finishing their race. And here we have the finish coming into the wall. Matt Wynn at a, if I'm reading that time correctly,
just over 5 minutes.
5:01.52. We'll see the times coming up for the second and third places in just a second on the board. Second place was lane 2, which is Jeff Wickham in a 5:11.25 with a good drop there on that event. And then fourth place in lane 1 we have Neil Matthews from Harbor High School. So good race. We see people dropping their times, which is what they expect to do in this final meet of the year, Dick. The pace, the strategy paying off for Matt Wynn as he holds his pace, finishes right there at a 5-minute 500 freestyle.
Okay, and let's go over the 100 freestyle winners, with Mark Morales, of course, winning at 48.23, the official time, and Derek Thorington from Harbor, 49.12.